Hello, 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 my beautifuls and beauties. Thank you so much for coming to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel, where I'm passionate about helping victims of all ages and all genders overcome the fear of facing the abuse to become survivors. And recently, we've been using the umbrella of Justice for Shanquilla Robinson for our platform. However, it seems that on a daily basis, there has been at least one daily victim that, with this whole domestic violence, it's like we've been enlightened to this new, I don't know if it's new. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. This whole thing is just it's baffling me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm 52 years old, and I guess my head has been in the sand for the last 52 years, I guess. And this is new awareness for me. This whole domestic violence stuff and how these things are connected. These dots are connected. The dots are connected. The dots are connected. Um, hey, y'all, I appreciate y'all coming in here. I see some names over here. What's up, Jamie? Jamie says, hello, my beautiful queen, RN and Awesome Moss. Love what you're doing and speaking, okay, on this very sensitive subject. Keep up the great work. Justice for our beautiful Shanquilla Robinson. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. And I just want, y'all to see these similarities. And I know we were talking about, or I was talking about how, Mexico got their own problems and all this stuff, and not really identifying how we really have the same problem over here, just called domestic violence, right? And wow. Again, I'm 52 years old and the proud mother of three adult children, two young men and two young men and one young lady. I'm just ultra super happy for you guys coming here. Hey, Beverly. All right. And appreciate y'all for really getting off into this. Like, Friday, I showed y'all that video of the lady. Like I said, we over here, we seeking the justice. However, when there are daily cases of these kind of things happening, we got to do something for the living now. So we're not trying to get justice for people after they're already gone. And we hear the same story. Oh, she was sweet, she was giving, she was kind, right? We're going to see two cases, and I just thought that I didn't put the name up there. Sha'Dayla Johnson was, you guys were bringing me names too, saying about what about this person, what about that person. And I know like we would bring up names from the past, but we still currently have present names. And what I would like to do is for us to be a voice so we could stop future names, right? Because Friday we saw the video of the lady, slipped the note to the veterinarian, front desk that, the boyfriend had a gun and that he had, that, so they were able to call the police and get help for her, right? But just knowing how women are, in a high potential to be off in these abusive situations. And then, within moments, you guys were putting in the comments, oh, I just got out of, I left a different country. I mean, y'all was coming, saying this stuff. So it's just making me aware of how this touches so many, just touches so many of us, right? And how women have not had a voice. No one's been listening to us, that we, cry out for these abuse, and these abusers are just getting away with it to where they're not even trying to control the rage. The rage just comes out, and so I want us to be aware of these red flags and the signs. Like I was able to show y'all how the boyfriend was, even when the cops got there, he still flashed her a look like, man, when that's why I was saying, like, if you're in a situation like that, you cannot go back to the abuser because it could mean your life. And the videos that we're going to watch today, I want us to kind of come up with an idea, because these two women, these two young Black women, just like Sha'Dayla, even younger, unalived, right? And they left out of the situation, but these abusers sought them out and came after them, and still, so we got to come up with something so how we can get out of this and be safe, right? This is serious business. You only have to be unalived once, right? Hey, JP6 says, I don't like domestic violence. It is shameful. Yes, and that's why I say over here, we don't do moments of silence. We do moments of speaking, right? So many people, so many victims don't say anything, right? They don't say anything. They try to hide it. They protect the abuser. They go back, right? Statistics show that the victim will leave and come back up to 7 times before they finally just get out of there and stay gone, right? And sometimes you may not get 7 times. You may not get that. That's why you can't go back. You can't go back, because the rage, like, we need to get some understanding of the rage. That's why I do appreciate John, who came up and actually kind of gave a male perspective on, why the rage and why the explosiveness and the fury. It's past rage, it's fury. So, I just want us to be aware, like, this is a public safety announcement, right? And, that's what we do here as a nurse. And not only am I 52 years old, so I'm a proud Gen Xer, but I also have over 30 years of nursing experience. And as a nurse, it's part of us to advocate for people, for our patients. And, this whole speaking up for this, thought about femicide, but now it's really over here is domestic violence, right? On both of these occasions, the men had been arrested. I mean, not on both of them, but on one of the occasions, they had been arrested and got out and still went after the lady to unalive her, right? This is really serious. It's really serious. And JP, hello to you too, JP. I appreciate y'all for coming in and all this stuff. And like I said, these things line up, right? Because we know that Sha'Dayla was over there because of the male friend, right? So that's why I'm saying we need to be aware of this tendency to be physical by, these men and stuff, and being in relationships with them is, you need to understand the danger, that there is a danger in it, right? So we want to know how to pick out the red flags, right? Because nobody walks around, these guys aren't walking around with abuser tattooed on their foreheads, right? And a lot of them are very charming, right? They're not coming across, they don't just come up and say, hey, what's your name? And, smack you or punch you in the nose, right? It's not like that. So like I said, we need to stop, look, listen, and feel for vibe. You need to understand when somebody, have these red flags, right? Because they're red flags. They really are. All right. So, hey, Beverly. All right. So I'm just going to go on and break us into our first video. It's going to be really quick, just to kind of introduce us to this whole domestic violence, stuff like that. And I think I should probably still do our acts of faith. I appreciate y'all for, what's up, Anna's face says, hey, queen. All right, justice for Sha'Dayla, yes. And I saw, people are talking, and y'all see, I purposely didn't put any, no kind of thumbnails, no nothing to talk about Shanquilla. Friday, I think, did I speak on it? Maybe so, but we did watch something. There's nothing new happening here, y'all. And I really want to focus on the living, right? Because we see that every day there's still more victims. There's still more. There's still more. So we need to do something for the present people so we don't have victims. So women will know how to feel when these men have this energy towards you. Let me just play this first video. Now I'm gonna put up my acts of faith. Put up my acts of faith. Let me do my acts of faith. Our acts of faith. All right. So we've been reading our acts of faith. It's meditation book, Daily Meditations for People of Color. It's by Yana Van Zett. Book copywritten in 1993. And it's really good today, especially for us women too. All right. So very helpful. January 20th says, you must learn how to make it. Wait a minute, what is today? Oh, the 21st. We read this yesterday. I was here yesterday. I came on live. Oh, Vaseline with my pencil. All right, so January the 21st. All right, because I'm going to say we read that already. I read that already. You are as much as you are right now. And that is a Yoruba proverb. And Iana says, we have such poor images of ourselves that we have difficulty understanding the good others see in us. When someone gives us a compliment, we are quick to point out what is wrong. Wow. When someone supports or encourages us, we remind them of our failures. We play ourselves down to such a degree that others begin to question the faith they have placed in us. This vicious cycle can only lower our already low self-esteem. Today is a good time to rethink our thoughts about ourselves. We can accept the compliments we receive when we give them to ourselves first. We can build our confidence by celebrating our small victories and successes. We can support the faith and trust others have in us by supporting and having faith in ourselves. It all begins with our willingness to acknowledge that we are really fine just the way we are. I really am okay with me. All right, that was really good. Really good, really good. Okay, so the first one is going to be this 23-year-old young lady was shot and unalived by an ex-boyfriend. I'm going to let y'all hear the story. And of course, I'm going to point out the red flags so you could see the potentials, and then just find out really, I don't know if anything could have really been done to stop this. When people have an intention, that's why when you escape, sometimes you've got to go far away. You got to go far, far away in someplace else too, Yeah, you have to make a plan. And that's what I want us to do, is come up with something so we can help the people, because just leaving and going to your parents' house or going someplace else, these men are getting, and these abusers are, being determined. They're just determined, right? Right? You break up with them, or you say something that they're not happy with, or like when we read the definition, the Mexican definition for femicide, right? These men are getting angry when you don't fulfill roles that they think that you're supposed to fulfill as a woman, right? And especially like if they thought that you were their woman, right? Think those are red flags when somebody said, you mine, right? You get away from anybody that says that, you belong to me. Those are scary words. Oops.
his ex-girlfriend after she recently broke up with him.
Wow.
What investigators say he revealed about the shooting during his chilling confession, and who else he told officers he would have killed.
Wow.
On December 20th, 2022.
December 20th, 2022.
At 7:40 a.m., 23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson was heading to work when she was confronted outside her residence by her former boyfriend, 23-year-old Carlos Lamont Jones.
Look at his face, y'all. Look at his eyes, right? You have to learn how to see this in the face. Look at this anger. He still looks pissed off.
After only 5 months of dating, he fatally shot Sha'Dayla 15 times with a semi-automatic gun that he purchased a week
After 5 months.
prior because she did not answer his texts or telephone calls. His only regret is that he didn't also kill her father. How could someone be so heartless, and what would make a person throw their entire life away because someone they just recently started dating no longer desire to be with them? Welcome to Viral Crimes.
Wow.
Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Melbourne, Florida. Beautiful 23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson had her entire life ahead of her. She was described as an old soul that was wise beyond her years. Sha'Dayla was stunning with a smile that could light up a room. Sha'Dayla had wonderful energy and was very kind.
Who that sound like, y'all? Who that sound like? Don't that sound like Sha'Dayla? Right? It's a pattern, y'all. It's a pattern. So while we getting distracted on talking about one person, look at here. What about her? But I guess we already know who's got the person. Well, it's the same thing. We still waiting for justice. We still waiting for justice. So all I'm saying is that we can't just be focused on this one thing here. What about focusing on fixing this so we don't have to keep having this happen, right? Everything they're saying about her sounds like the exact same thing that they've been saying about Sha'Dayla.
She was the type of friend that you could count on.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh. Did you hear him doing it?
She was described as someone who always gave people the benefit of the doubt. She had dreams for her life, but sadly, she would never get the chance to experience all that life has to offer. On the morning of December 20th, 2022, at around 7:48 a.m., officers from the Melbourne Police Department were called to Colbert Circle in Melbourne, Florida, in response to a 911 call that reported a victim who had been shot. Officers discovered the victim, Sha'Dayla Johnson, lying face down and unconscious on the floor of the carport when they arrived on the scene. It appeared that Sha'Dayla had many gunshot wounds, most of which were located in the back of her body. This leads one to believe that she was shot while she was walking or fleeing away from the person who committed the crime.
Coward shot her in the back.
Sha'Dayla was transported by paramedics to the Holmes Regional Medical Center, where advanced resuscitation attempts were provided. Unfortunately, despite these efforts, she was unable to be resuscitated and passed away because of the gunshot wounds. According to Torrance, Sha'Dayla's father, he was relaxing in the chair in his living room just before the shooting took place, while his daughter Sha'Dayla was getting ready for work in the next room. Sha'Dayla left the house and made her way to her car at roughly 7:40 in the morning in order to go to work on time at 8 o'clock. She headed out to her vehicle to drive to work. After a few seconds, Torrance heard what sounded like a succession of gunshots, which prompted him to instantly jump off the chair and look out the window of the living room. When Torrance peered out the window, he saw Carlos standing behind Sha'Dayla's car and looking in the direction of their home.
Look at his eyes, y'all. Right? You got to learn how to look at these features and see, make the eyes talk.
He only saw Carlos from the chest up. Because Carlos had been in a relationship with Sha'Dayla for the last 5 months, Torrance was able to recognize him. Carlos's car was parked behind Sha'Dayla's vehicle, blocking it in the driveway. Torrance went outside the front door to see what was going on. Once outside, he observed that Carlos and his vehicle had disappeared, and he found Sha'Dayla lying face down on the floor of the carport, in a pool of her own blood, next to the front of her vehicle. According to Sha'Dayla's father, Sha'Dayla and Carlos previously lived together, but the two of them got into a heated argument, and they broke up 2 weeks before the murder. She moved
Wow.
back in with her father. Carlos had been continuously calling and harassing Sha'Dayla in an attempt to convince her to continue their.
When you leave the abuser, this is the behavior that they're doing. If you getting away from somebody and they continuing to text you, call you, that is danger, danger, danger. You need to block them and go somewhere and do not tell them your location. Just like I was telling y'all in the Darrell Brooks case, the only reason why he was able to get out there is because she told Erica, the victim, who the intended victim, because he was mad like this guy because she was getting away from him, and he wanted to unalive her. That is a red flag. Anybody that's, you say, hey, look, this ain't working out for us, and you try to leave and they just keep call, showing up on your job. These are red flag behaviors, and you are not safe unless you are somewhere that they don't know. You have to be gone for a good little while before to let them get all that negative energy, that hatred, that anger and rage out of their system, because they are looking for you to unleash it on. Because the amount of overkill, 15 shots.
Their relationship, but Sha'Dayla refused to speak to Carlos and would not communicate with him in any way, even ignoring his calls and messages.
So she did right on that. She did right on that. However, we see that that's not enough. You got to be somewhere where they don't know where you live at. Sometimes you may have to leave the state, change your job. Especially if you know that they have a history towards violence. If they got violent with you, that is a definite, urgent.
December 19th, Carlos made his last effort to get in touch with Sha'Dayla, but he was unsuccessful. So he showed up to Sha'Dayla's father's home and shot and killed her while she was preparing to leave for work. Carlos entered the lobby of the Palm Bay Police Department and voluntarily turned himself in at around 11 a.m. He made an unprompted statement that he was looking at potentially 35 years in jail, but he did not clarify as to why. Carlos provided a complete confession to investigators in which he said that earlier that morning, he decided that he would murder Sha'Dayla. He admitted to shooting her with a semi-automatic weapon that belonged to him. Carlos told investigators that he woke up in an enraged state that morning because Sha'Dayla had not been responding to his phone calls or messages. Carlos claims that this was the reason for his anger. Carlos said that he made the decision to shoot and murder Sha'Dayla right at that moment. He was aware that Sha'Dayla had to be at work at 8 a.m., so he drove to her residence in Colbert Circle just after 7:30 a.m. in order to confront and kill her. Carlos admitted to pulling his black Nissan sedan behind.
Look at him. Look like a spoiled brat. Entitled, "How dare you want to leave me?"
Sha'Dayla's vehicle in the driveway in order to block it in, and he confronted Sha'Dayla as she was exiting her front door to go to work. After he had a brief conversation with her, Sha'Dayla walked away from him and continued heading in the direction of her residence. That's when Carlos pointed his gun at Sha'Dayla while she was walking away from him and shot her 15 times in the back. Carlos said that he...
Coward. I hope y'all can see what I'm trying to show you in his face. You see that void? Look, he still looks angry. Even after the the eruption and stuff. It's going to be a while before this is sad. Super sad.
He estimated that he shot her 15 times because he only had 3 shots remaining in his magazine, and he came with a magazine that was completely loaded with 18 bullets. Sha'Dayla dropped onto the floor of the carport in front of her vehicle after being shot. Carlos said she was around 8 feet away when he shot and killed her.
Wow.
Carlos obtained the firearm and ammo that he used to kill Sha'Dayla from a nearby gun store about a week before the murder took place. He claims he first bought the weapon for the purpose of protecting himself, but later used it to shoot Sha'Dayla. After killing Sha'Dayla, he went to the apartment he was staying at, which was located in Melbourne, and changed his clothes there. He threw away the clothes he wore during the murder and a box of 9mm ammo in the trash at his apartment building. After discarding the evidence, Carlos exited his apartment. He drove onto the interstate and threw his pistol magazine, which included 3 rounds of 9mm ammo, out the passenger side window of his vehicle. After that, discarded his semi-automatic weapon in a storm drain at another location. Carlos said that his mother called him a few hours after the murder and begged him to surrender, so he did.
Okay, now that's a good mama, right? Instead of making excuses for him or help hiding him out, this mother begged him to turn himself in.
What his mother asked and turned himself in to the authorities. When asked whether he felt guilty about what he had done, he answered no, and added that if he had to do it all over again, he would have murdered Sha'Dayla and her father, Torrance. 23-year-old Jones was arrested by Melbourne police and charged with premeditated first-degree murder.
Developing at 4, a young woman is dead and her ex-boyfriend is accused of killing her. The situation unfolded early this morning in Brevard County.
Watch 2's Scott Heidler is live from the scene in Melbourne with brand new details tonight. So, Scott, what did you learn?
Well, Melbourne police just have identified the 23-year-old victim, and the suspect, her boyfriend, turned himself in to authorities just a little bit ago.
If you can have...
Oops. Wow. So what I'm wanting y'all to get out of this are the patterns, right? The patterns. And then too, to see how this lady tried to do the right thing. She left. She wasn't even thinking about him anymore. But just know that those people are they're getting even more mad that you left and that you are not allowing them to hoover you back in there. Let's see here. JP6 says, if a man hit you once, then he is an abuser. That is true. That is true. That is true. And so many victims overlook that, right? They overlook it and they take them back. Even if you got to see more than just before, there's red flags before the actual hit. If someone blocks your way, if you're trying to leave, hey, look what, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm about to get out of here, right? And he steps in front of you to block your way. That is abuse right there. He is intimidating you and wanting you to do, at that point, don't do anything. You don't try, because they're looking for you to push a button. These abusers, they're looking for you to push their button so they could, and then blame you for it. Look what you made me do, right? You got to see these red flags. You got to see these patterns. Them standing in front of you, blocking you from trying to leave, that is abuse. And something inside of you, you should feel something in your solar plexus area letting you know that this person is upset. They're upset and they're looking to raid you. The next step is grabbing you by the arm, to stop you, right? That is abuse. These are physicals, right? Because if you did like that to pull away, this could trigger that person to go ahead and hit you. So that's what I'm saying. We need to see these red flags. And I don't know. We just need to see the red. We need to warn these women that these are young women. She hadn't, didn't even have a chance. And nowadays, young women are so eager to be off in these relationships and stuff and not understanding the dangers that's in there. If these men, the males, are thinking that you're their possession,
Sha'Dayla Johnson was found shot several times this morning after
15
police were called in
times.
just before 8 a.m. to this house on Colbert Circle. Fire rescue immediately performed life-saving measures on arrival, but Johnson did not survive. Melbourne police confirming that her ex-boyfriend, Carlos Jones, who was initially a person of interest, turned himself in at 10:30 this morning to the Palm Bay Police Department. He was arrested by Melbourne police, charged with premeditated first-degree murder.
Wow.
Jones is also 23 years old. We spoke with a woman who said she's Johnson's aunt, saying that she was well supported here in the community.
Yeah, she was loved dearly. Beautiful soul, beautiful young lady. And this is...
They said the same thing about Shanquilla, right? And those are the ones that get targeted, the sweet, innocent, the sweet, giving, right? She was obviously ambitious. She was on her way to work. Who knows? Maybe she was supporting him and he got angry because she didn't want to be in the relationship to support him anymore. These men will get upset and be ready to unalive you if you choose not to participate with them. It's not safe.
Been very tragic. I just can't say no more, sir.
Detectives and crime scene investigators focused on this vehicle soon after being called in, and CSI removed bags of evidence from the scene to determine what led up to the shooting.
The first time since he surrendered to police yesterday, a Melbourne man saw a judge on a charge of first-degree murder today. Good afternoon. I'm Greg Wormuth.
I'm Darlene Jones. Police say the suspect's ex-girlfriend was shot with a semi-automatic pistol that was purchased.
Wow, that's anger.
We first told you about the shooting here on Colbert Circle on Eyewitness News at noon yesterday. Channel 9's Melanie Holt is live at the Brevard County Jail for us this afternoon. And Mel, you learned chilling new details about the shooting, what police say the suspect did next.
That is true, Raw. Not just women, men are abused as well. That is true. And I'm going to definitely highlight some of those stories too, so the men could be aware. Especially what I really would like to do is that one, let me just come up here real quick. The one that I showed y'all on Friday could have been either way, right? It could have been a lot of times these women that are abusers, they'll do things to, get the guy arrested or, do those kind of things, right? To make the way you can tell who the narcissist is through the bad acting, right? We saw that lady, we felt the tension too, and there was no audio on there, right? Just talking. If it had been like she had been the one that was trying to get the guy in trouble, as soon as the police came in there, she would have been making all kind of noise. She sat there like a real scared victim, and we saw him flash her to look like, as soon as I get about here, I'm going, you done, you toast, right? So you're looking at those kind of things, those kind of personalities. So yes, Raw, you are absolutely right. There are some women who abuse men, right? Even physically, right? And these men will keep restraint not to do anything back because obviously the man is stronger, and a woman, you're not doing any real nothing. The man is allowing you to put the hands on. So that shows you how master manipulated a woman could be who is an abuser, to be able to physically abuse someone who is physically stronger than you, right? What type of beat down to the mind do you do to a person to allow them to abuse you when physically you don't even have the capacity to? That's why I mean too about mental abuse is even worse than physical, right? So these women who are abused are almost worse than the men because of the mind manipulation. Severe.
Investigators
Thank you,
shortly
Raw.
after this shooting, the suspect began tossing evidence. Later,
He
confessed to shooting his girlfriend after he tried but failed to get her back. 23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson, who you see here in a social media post, was on her way to work yesterday when Melbourne police say she was confronted by her ex, 23-year-old Carlos Jones. According to court records, Jones woke up in an angry state because Sha'Dayla had not been answering his phone calls or texts.
So she did nothing to him. She had been gone for 2 weeks, and his anger is still seething and festering and boiling. She moved on with her life. She's going to work.
Investigators say Jones decided to drive to Johnson's Colbert Circle home to confront and kill her.
Mr. Jones, I do find probable cause for your arrest.
Police say that Jones and Johnson exchanged some words in her driveway before he pointed his handgun and shot Johnson in the back 15 times. Johnson's father, who was
overkill, 15 times. 15 times. And that's why you don't go back to somebody who did any of that, even if they yell at you, standing in your way to block you, telling you that you're theirs. Anybody say that to you, be aware. Even if a woman tells you you're mine, right? Somebody is saying that you're their possession. They do not respect you as a person. They see you as their property.
Inside of the house at the time, heard the shots ring out.
Frankly, I have to determine that you're a danger to the public. So no bond is appropriate.
After the shooting, investigators say that Jones told them he discarded his clothing and tossed his weapon down a storm drain. Hours later, police say he received a call from his mother urging him to turn himself in, and he did at the Palm Bay Police Department. An investigator who arrived later said he asked Jones if he was remorseful, and he was told that if he had to do it all over again, he would kill Sha'Dayla and her father.
Wow. Oops. I think that's going to be about it on this video. Let me see here. Nope, a little bit more. But I've got to read some of these comments because this here is really touching me, y'all. Jamie says, not only am I a domestic violence survivor, my daughter is also, all at the hands of her own father. My daughter, didn't tell me until years later. He died before I got to confront him. Yeah. And like I said, that's why we don't promote moments of silence over here. We do moments of speaking where we're speaking out the names of these abusers and the survivors. We're speaking out the names of the victims, and we're speaking out the names of these abusers. Because this here, definitely sounds like traditionally what would be called as, a family secret, right? And this is other reasons why victims don't speak out. We don't speak out because of that. And Jennifer says at Beverly Cross, yes, women really become trapped after having children. Abusers depend on this. Yes. I'm so glad that y'all getting this. I know, this is not going to get heavily viewed, or people aren't going to be clamoring, coming over here. And it's because a lot of times these abusers don't want us to bring awareness for victims, right? Because now this is going to mess up their thing, right? Because they're counting on these victims to continue to accept the abuse. I love this word, trapped. Yes, women really become trapped after having children. And that's why a lot of them will try to knock you up with a baby real quick. Abusers depend on it. Yes. True, Jennifer. Jennifer says at Jamie, I am so sorry that happened to you and your daughter. Yes. I'm grateful that you guys are here surviving, and that you're still here. You're still here. Hey, Tanya. Tanya says, Jamie, so sorry to hear. I'm glad you were able to confront him so you will not live it forever. I think she said she wasn't able to. He expired before she was able to confront him. And Beverly says, I just rented the movie, The Woman King. The Woman King, okay. And maybe we need to learn how to fight like these Amazon women. Yes. And also, get some shooting lessons, definitely some self-defense, right? Because just knowing that physically there's a tremendous difference in our strength and our ability to move. You're not going to be able to outrun them. You've got a tilted pelvis. And for them to use that physical advantage to submit us is not right. It's not right. So sad. Yes, yes, yes. So sad. See, Tanya says, Irene, I'm so glad this channel has gone this direction. I heard of a story as I watched true crimes against Black women. Wow. There are so many cases. Yes. Let all of us band together to beat this. Yes, thank y'all. Oh, thank you. And I knew this was like taking a chance and stuff, but like I said, I'm here because I want to make a difference for the living. If we focus solely, just think about it. The lady that we're Sha'Dayla, we're just looking at her story here. This happened in December, right? So this happened, that means that after Sha'Dayla, how many other people have still been, coming up unalived? Daily. So we can't just let them, make us feel like we're getting some justice by going around marching and say, oh, we need justice for Shan. Now we need justice for Sha'Dayla. And then whoever the next person we're about to show. And then I got a video from India. The Indian women are saying this too. Where are women safe? This is super sad. Did I finish this? Yeah, I did. Sorry. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. Was a great statement there. Beverly says Jennifer Hudson's sister, boyfriend, murked a whole. Oh yeah, I remember that. Murked the whole family and left her sister to live with it. How evil was that? Yes. Yes. Just like this guy, yeah, and they do that, and the next one that I'm going to show you is going to be even more heinous, that these abusers enjoy inflicting pain on, your family members and stuff. They enjoy hurting your family to get back at you. It's really sick. And that's why we have to protect the person. We got to put them in hiding, get them out somewhere. We got to come up with better something, because the one lady, the next one I'm going to show you guys, this lady had a restraining order, and this guy had, I don't want to tell the whole story. Let me just get a few more of these, and then we're going to finish up this one. And yes, OMG, my heart. Yes. Tanya said, what was interesting, he blocked her car, in the driveway. He was there with intentions. The same way, Sha'Dayla was surrounded, and the intentions, all the, stuff was there. He even admitted, I woke up this morning, I was pissed. Yep. Tanya says, and started shooting. Yes, exactly. I'm just grateful that her back was turned and she didn't have a thought of seeing what was getting ready to happen to her. And I'm grateful for that. 15 times, that's horrible. And that just shows the rage. Whenever anybody just do that kind of damage to the body, that is rage. Rage. Beverly says, Tanya Carr even blocked her car. Yes, he blocked us to make sure you ain't going nowhere. He had no intentions for her to see tomorrow. You don't want to be with me? Well, fine. Well, then time to check out. And look how common it is. I'm about to show y'all another video. I'm about to show y'all another one that just happened too. And it's going to sound exactly like this case. How many more black women got to be unalived by these men and nothing's happening? They letting them out. Let's see. Tankar says, this was so sad. He was unhinged. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Let's see. These poor parents, how do they even go on after this? Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to finish this one up here. It's almost done.
Some clothing from the suspect's apartment complex in a dumpster. They also recovered a weapon, the one they believed was used in this shooting. Live here at the Brevard County Jail, Melanie Holt, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
He is currently locked up at the Brevard County Jail for first-degree murder and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. Sha'Dayla's friends and family are devastated by her untimely death. Her former teacher, Ms. Connor, stated that Sha'Dayla was emailing her about her college plans before she was tragically taken. She said, "To say I am devastated by this news is an understatement. I do not look for sympathy. All I ask is for us all to dig deep on how we can strengthen women to learn the warning signs of a man that should no longer have access to us. I am grateful for my time with this one, but I am angry at how something like this can happen to such a beautiful soul."
Yeah.
She was 23 with her whole life ahead of her. Please pray for Sha'Dayla's family.
And he probably hated this about her, that she was such a beautiful spirit, ambitious, and all that stuff, right? And if I can't have you, nobody else will.
Forever in your corner, sweet girl. What happened to Sha'Dayla was an awful tragedy, and it had to be devastating for a father to discover his daughter dead in that way. Who knows what happened between Sha'Dayla and Carlos while they were living together?
Look at his face, y'all. Look at them eyes. He does not care. He don't care. He's still mad. It probably happened so too fast, and he didn't suffer enough for him. No remorse. His only regret that he didn't use his last 3 bullets to take out her father.
That caused her to break up with him and move back in with her father. But she did the right thing, removing herself out of possibly a toxic or maybe even abusive situation, and cutting off all contact with her ex-boyfriend. If he would show such anger and rage at a refusal to answer his calls and text messages, he has probably shown her some sort of anger and rage before. Sadly, he couldn't just move on, but instead decided that she didn't deserve to live because she didn't want to be with him. My condolences to her friends and family and all of those who loved Sha'Dayla.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let's see. Jennifer says at our end, it was so clear Daryl Brooks still has all this rage. I watched the whole trial and he blamed Erica for making him run people over. See there? He insinuated she was a liar and bad parent too. That's what I'm saying. These narcissists, these abusers, they will blame you. Look what you made me do. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, is because people would try to make it seem like it's this big thing, like he was, this terrorist, American terrorist. It was just domestic violence gone bad. That's it. He was mad. He just hit her with the car, the same car that he ran all those people over with. The same Ford, Ford Escape, the red Ford Escape. He broke her leg and hit her with the car, punched her, gave her a black eye. And his mother, enabling mother, bailed him out of jail. And then what did he do? The typical abuser behavior. Call the victim, text the victim, harass the victim until they get the victim to break down and start the communication. As soon as you accept their communication, you have made a grave mistake. You've messed up big time. He was able to get her to tell him, who had just tried to kill. Somebody hit you with a car. That's attempted murder. They tried to take your life. Why are you telling them where you at? She in a shelter for battered women. She brought the monster out there because of the psychological damage that these women go through. That's why you have to be careful. You can't help somebody who don't know they need help. She endangered all those people because she didn't care enough about herself to stay safe and removed from the abuse. So that's a good point. Yes. And he had the rage. And it kept escalating because his people kept bailing him out. He kept talking his way out of it. So, that's why he defended himself, because he really thought that he could talk his way out of it. I've been charming the people. I can talk my way out of it. But he's mad at her still that he's serving his time. He feels that she's responsible for this. You see, Beverly Foster says, my goodness, they would rather spend the rest of their life behind bars instead of moving on to a new relationship is more than I can comprehend. This mentality and forced sex is all about control. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get it, right? I feel like I'm just waking up to this, and this is super serious. Super serious. Super serious. And I know, like, whenever if I back in my day when I was mingling or meeting around, those were red flags to me. Anybody who tried to step in the way, or if I'm trying to go, or if I feel like they raised a voice, or said that thing like you mind or something like that, red flag. Pew, I am outie, and I'm not investing. No. Red flag, right? Or get mad or do that excessive texting and all that stuff, and want to rush the relationship so quickly, like we just met, and you only known the person for 5 months and you're already living together and all. No. Red flag. That's red flag behavior. Hey, Lena said femicide and domestic need to be separate and need to be separated into different groups. Femicide, XY need to say XY who identify as women. Domestic is XX, XY, and XXXX. The message of femicide crimes will be lost. I don't understand that. I'm gonna drop the link if you want to come explain what that. I don't understand. See, femicide and domestic need to be separated into different groups. Femicide, XX through XY need to say XY who identify as a woman. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Domestic is XXXY and XXXX. The message of femicide crimes will be lost. I don't know if I really get that or not, but all right. So, Lena, I hope I got your point there, but I'm still gonna we'll drop this too in case anybody want to come up and give a testimony. The next video we're gonna see another young lady. Okay, we just saw her. The same reason. This here.
Have you ever wanted to build an income online but have
almost the same? Like, I want y'all to see these patterns and how common this is. Remember when I was showing that video of in Mexico, the Mexican men that was there for the domestic violence, right? And how they were saying it was commonplace. It's commonplace here too, y'all. It is commonplace here too. All right, so let me go on to pull this up here. This young lady's name, I think it's Matavia. Let me just play it so y'all I don't mess up the name. But It's the same thing.
And we couldn't protect her. We couldn't protect her. And then she went to the people that are supposed to do the protecting, and they couldn't protect her.
Beautiful 20-year-old Montasia Arrington was a joy to be around. She had a wonderful personality and was full of life.
Okay, don't stop right there. Okay, did that just sound like the next lady that we just heard, Sha'Dayla, right? Sound like Shanquilla, right? And another Black woman. What is going on?
She was a mother to a 2-year-old who she loved and adored. Unfortunately, the father of her child was abusive and she was afraid of him. Tragically, her young life would be cut short after her baby's father would bail out of jail for assaulting her, then show up to her apartment, violating a protective order.
Whoa! Wow. That's why I'm saying you can't just go, sign the paper and say, I got a restraining order. You have to be aware that they hate you so much that the paper is not going to stop you. It's not going to stop them.
Would shoot her mother, then chase her down and shoot and kill her.
Wow.
How could he kill the mother of his child? And why wasn't there more protection for Montasia? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Littleton, North Carolina. 20-year-old Montasia Renee Arrington was always happy, smiling, and showing love to those around her.
Hey, Z. Wow.
She graduated from Northwest Collegiate and Technical Academy in Littleton, North Carolina, with the class of 2019. Montasia loved cheerleading, and while in high school, she was a member of the cheer squad. She loved her family and friends and enjoyed bouncing around, laughing and playing.
Yeah, good question.
Montasia had a 2-year-old child, but was in an abusive relationship with the child's father, 23-year-old Jamasia Tillery. Tillery was a registered sex offender and was violent towards Montasia. When he was 16, Tillery was convicted on April 5, 2017, for felonious restraint of a minor and sexual battery of a victim who was 14 at the time.
Oh, it's 16 and 14. I don't know. What y'all think? I don't know. 16 and 14, that's like kids do. I don't know.
The offenses occurred on January 30th, 2016.
But it said something about a restraint. I don't know. That sounds, I don't know.
Received 30 months probation and was added to the sex offender registry on April 7th, 2017 for a minimum period of 10 years.
Wow.
Montasia had been living with her mother, 48-year-old Teresa Arrington, and her child in an apartment in Littleton. During one of Tillery's visits to Montasia's apartment to see their child, Tillery lost his temper and physically assaulted Montasia.
Lost his temper. There we go again. What is going on that there's so much anger in these men? What's hurting them so much? Friday we were listening to, we had those men, content creators, and the one from, I'm so bad with names, but when there was the two guys that was up there talking, and he was talking about, these young men being hurt and victimized as children. He looks hurt, like somebody really hurt him too. We got some healing that needs, I don't know.
He stabbed Montasia with a knife. She managed to escape to a neighboring apartment where she called 911. Police arrived at the apartment and discovered Montasia had been cut with a knife and had additional injuries as a result of the attack.
What?
Tillery fled the apartment before the police arrived. A few minutes later, he was spotted in the same general vicinity and was arrested and placed in jail. At first, he was held in custody without the possibility of being released on bail. But later, the judge set a $40,000 bond, and he was able to bail out of jail. Sadly, this decision would have fatal consequences. Montasia was terrified of Tillery and obtained a domestic violence protective order against him.
I wonder if they told her that they letting this person out. That's why I'm saying you got to leave. You got to go someplace. Yes, JP6, please send me the article. Let me see here. You had said, JP6 says there is another type of domestic violence that is not discussed at all. Yeah. Please enlighten us. Please enlighten us. Like I said, this is new. Like I've heard about this kind of stuff. Like I would see it on those little ID networks and all those kind of things. This is the same stuff, right? They get mad when you want to get out of the relationship and just erupt with rage and anger. And it's like, oops, oh well. Oops, my bad. I'm up here.
Seriously? These are the best.
I don't know, y'all. This is really ultra sad. Ultra sad. And serious too, y'all. Jennifer says, Lena, that's a really great point. I agree. What did Lena say? Okay. Oh, this is the one that I was lost on. Yeah. I think I may have kind of got the point a little bit here. Jennifer said, oh, yeah, you already said that. A really great point. Tanya says, I heard of this a few weeks back, and I was sickening as I have a 23-year-old daughter. Yes. And I had heard it too. Somebody had brought it up to the chat. But, I was like, oh, I'm only focused on Sharon Quill. And I'm not saying that that's not a good thing to, put energy or focus to. But I'm like, what about these other people too? And then the people that are still here, like the ones that we could really warn to say, hey, leaving and going back to your parents' house is not a good idea, because now you're putting, your people also in danger too. You may have to be gone for 90 days into like an underground something, right? Especially if they are seriously, really trying to keep contacting you. This is just going to keep building up the rage and anger in them. That lets you know that you are not safe any place that they know where you're at. You have to take it serious, right? You have to take, because you only have to be unalive once. Unalive once. Let's see here. Jennifer says, at Sarai, if you look at this guy's face, I'm willing to bet he has a record and probably drug issues. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying too. We need to start warning our daughters on, what to look for and stuff, But nowadays, these young people, this isn't, this is a rapper look, right? Or, I mean, like, this is the look that, it's not like, this is mild. Like, a lot of them have tattoos all over the face and stuff, right? This is mild. And then, they see that in their, the people nowadays, this whole look here is, they're doing it. What's up, baby queen? Baby queen said, if a man yells at you or raises his voice too much, that's too much. It starts verbally. Yep. Don't tolerate it. Exactly. Because that's the testing game too, right? Like I said, nobody just comes right out and punch you in the nose, right? They test to see how much abuse they could put on you. So by doing things, by even belittling you, devaluing you verbally, all kind of stuff, you know what I mean? You know, though that's abuse. And then they see how much you accept. Then if I could yell, raise my voice, call you stupid or any of these kind of names in the loud voice, the next thing you're going to get shook or pushed or grabbed or tossed. These are red flags. And that's already 10 behavior right there. So Jennifer says at Beverly Foster, that's a good point too. Do you think after being in jail for dozens of years that he may regret this or no? Tanya Carr says, RN, so true. If they isolate you from your friends and family is another sign. Yes, this young lady was beautiful. Exactly. All right. So I think, is this the email? Okay, I will do an impromptu. All right. So we're going to finish up this little story here. And then JP, we're going to watch what you just shared with the group. All right, so let me just get these new folks that didn't showed up here. What's up, Ernie? Ernie, thank you so much. Now that's a coward. Yeah, shooting in the back. I heard that. That's exactly what I thought too. All right, members. See, Jennifer, Beverly Foster says at Jennifer Smith. Nope, that is where they learn to be better criminals. What, in prison? Yeah, exactly. And this guy, I mean, he was okay. So he's been arrested for stabbing her, assaulting her with a deadly weapon, and now he's bailed out. Hey, Wonder Word says, hello all. I'd like to know about the young boy that suffered the brain damage after being burned at a sleepover. Oh, I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about that. Beverly Foster says, Ernie Williams, in my own experience, abusers don't attack someone that can challenge them physically. Exactly. Yep. And that's what makes this abuse on XXs so horrible, right? Let's see. Beverly Foster, truth. Abusers